Since nobody watched my last video, I'm going to talk about the coronavirus again.
Oh my god, what am I doing?
Hi, welcome to Just Thinking Out Loud. My name is Desi-Rae. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you are well, because I'm going to be talking about sick-related things having to do with my coronavirus. Everybody has been turning to their governmental agencies to help them get through these rough times. I think most businesses have been affected either positively or negatively in a drastic way, and so that response of the economy is going to be rapid and violent, and people want help getting through that stage. Now the form that this help is coming in the form of money being given to people, and the United States government in particular is going to be handing out stimulus checks. And I wanted to talk about the consequences of those stimulus checks. They're set to give about at least $1,200 to people who make under $75,000 annually. $1,200, it can be more, is not that much money. You can spend it on anything you want, but it can be garnished for child support. Now, where is the money actually coming from? They're basically inflating the monetary supply, and we're just going to see the consequences down the road later when we see prices rise. Also, we have to keep in mind the environment before this crisis hit, where the government was keeping interest rates low. That's artificially manipulating the money supply, because the purpose of interest rates is to tell people about what the supply of money is out there. So if the interest rates are really low, that means that the supply is really high, that's it's out there being spent in the economy by people. But if interest rates are really high, that means that the supply is more scarce because people have been saving money, and that's actually a signal for businesses to go and produce things because they'll know that people will be able to buy them in the future. And it's also incentive for people to lend out their saved money so that they can gain interest on it. Now, the government has been keeping all of that low for a very long time, and I don't want to get too economical about it, but the point to note about it is that interest rates are a signal, and nobody has been really saving because that signal is not there. And businesses have been incentivized to invest in projects when people don't actually have the money to spend on the goods that they're producing, and everything ends up being debt based. So it's not coming from savings, it's coming from people being debt based. And you think of it in your individual life, like how you respond, but it's really something happening at the macro level on the economy, and then that trickles down into how I say if I want to go and buy something and I realize there aren't much consequences for me racking up debt, so I'm just gonna go rack up some debt. That's really important to consider, because the effect of the virus on businesses and consumers is much harsher because of this. I've heard someone say, and I think that they're right, that even if people had savings, it would run out in a few months' time anyway, depending on how long this virus takes to blow over. This is true, but nonetheless, I am not so sure that the role of government is to save people every time there is a crisis and give them more functions than they already have. And I think this is the key question or debate when it comes to this topic, is what is the role of government, because people disagree on that. I think the role of government should be pretty small, but other people think that the government is basically there to take care of you whenever something goes wrong. Now, some people also think that it's not really the government doing it, it's other people in society doing it through the government for you. Either way, in this current scenario, we're all technically getting screwed over, because we're all going to see our purchasing power be diminished over time. So is the government really printing checks? I've heard different responses to what the government is doing in terms of the possibility of inflation. I've also seen people say that there's actually going to be deflation, or people saying that it's all going to be okay because all the other countries are also printing money or giving money out to their citizenry, and so the US dollar relatively is going to remain pretty strong. And because they're going to keep all the interest rates low, then the debt won't be that bad. There's that to think about, but there are also other consequences to think about, such as, is this what's going to happen every time there's a crisis? Because you can say that this is a one-time thing, but I don't know. I think there could be many other huge, large events that occur, and because we get so used to the government doing things for us, we come to rely on them. And I think that's a consequence to think about. I may be in the minority, but I think that's something that's not a good thing. And as a lot of people have been saying, some of this money isn't actually going to individuals, it's going to private organizations and corporations. And I guess you want to help everybody because the whole chain has to be helped. If you're helping one part of it, like we're interacting with each other, and that's what we're using the money for. Even though the government might not just be printing money, it's still keeping interest rates low. That's not good because it's a lie. So that's all I wanted to say on this topic, that I think that there are consequences of receiving these stimulus checks that people should think of, not just the specific monetarily ones, but what it means, read the relationship between government and the people, and how much people want the government to take care of them. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, do subscribe, and don't forget to donate at justthinkingoutloud.tv/donate. JTOL/me doing JTOL does need your support, so please do that. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. Thought it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with expert timing. There was Funky Chinaman in Funky Chinatown. I don't know the rest of it. I'm just changing my hair so it looks like it's a different day, even though I'm recording one after the other. God, I don't know if that's like the real lyrics or like inappropriate non-PC lyrics that I heard as a kid.